Sky News.
I will bring you the front pages of the newspapers after a rundown of what else is happening today. Charlotte with more.
Thanks, Eamon. Good morning. David Cameron will meet India's president today as he continues to push for stronger links with Britain. The Prime Minister's stinging comments about Pakistan's attitude to terrorism.
Other issues.
A busy time for the president so far. Now, how about this for getting in a tangle? A black bear cub became trapped in a fisherman's net in Alaska. His mother had tried to free it, but failed, and the fisherman, Dane Harvard, is using his car here to drag the net out of the reeds at the bottom of the garden. So he's actually trying to save the bear cub. We should just make that point. The mother was panicking. She's struggling to rip a hole in the massive net to free the cub. So Dane had pinned down the net using his car, and that allowed the mother to get a closer chance of freeing her cub.
Did the little bear get out at the end?
Well, you're about to see, look. Any moment now. He was obviously wedged in quite firmly.
Oh, this is worth waiting for, Charlotte.
Got him through. There
Baby bears are quite curious creatures, and there you go. Free at last. Isn't that lovely? And they have
lovely.
a little bear hug there to
Very
celebrate.
good, but it just goes to prove how stupid animals are. There we go. That's why they call them dumb animals.
The dangers of humans encroaching on their territory.
Leaving fishing nets
Exactly.
about. That's the biggest
careless
catch
of
you'll
them.
ever get in that, isn't it? The Guardian, first of all, with the...
Believe in better.
Sky News Sunrise. We're talking about windbreakers, the sort of picnic variety. We're talking with James Whale in about 10 minutes' time, because if you go to Clifton Downs near Bristol, you're not allowed to put one up. Why?
Exactly.
He will tell you very shortly, and this is all supposed to be summer. Leading the news this morning, police will...
Sky News.
Here's the rest of the news you're waking up to, Charlotte, with the details.
Thanks, Eamon. David Cameron will meet India's president today as he continues to push for stronger links with Britain. The Prime Minister's stinging comments about Pakistan's attitude straying off.
Well, I'll tell you what, well done to Mr. Dane Harvard. Very brave, getting
Yeah.
involved in all of that.
That was such a nice story,
Thanks.
Rachel. That was such a nice way to start the day, wasn't it?
She likes a nice
That has warmed
animal
my
story.
heart. Do
Yes.
you know that?
Yes.
Apart from the fact you called me Rachel, which I'm sure
I did call
just
you
did to
Rachel.
wind me
I
up.
don't know why I did that, but I
No,
do that.
I know why you
I
did
used
that.
to do that, didn't I? A lot. Yes. Sorry,
Well,
Charlotte.
you went from
Rachel.
an animal story which warmed your heart to one which infuriates you, I'm sure. Front page of the
Oh,
Times.
well, listen, I mean, I'm so pleased. Have you ever seen a bullfight? It really is
Yes,
quite
I have
disgusting.
seen a bullfight, yes.
I mean, I like... There's a bullfighting... is it in France? I'm not sure, where they don't kill the bulls.
Portugal.
Portugal. And fine. But it's this ritual...
Well, they don't kill them in the arena. I think they kill them outside the arena.
Yeah, but they don't stick things in them, I don't think, do they?
I think they do.
Do they really?
Yes,
Well,
but they just
scrap
don't
that as
kill
well.
them. Yeah,
I just
scrap-
think this ritual humiliation of animals. I mean, I eat meat, and animals have to die for us to eat meat, but it has to be done in a humane way. I can understand, by the way, the artistry of the matador and all the, moving around, but I cannot understand the humiliating and torturing the animal. And quite often the other animals, the horses and so on and so forth, and some of the people get severely injured too. So I'm glad it's gone, and if people think that's their culture, I think we move on from culture like that. We used to behead people in public, and we used to get bears to dance. Some countries still do that as well.
Well done, Catalonia, you
Well
say.
done, Catalonia, yes.
Okay. We go to the Iraq inquiry now, and this is from The Independent, and it's General Sir Richard Dannett, and he was talking about the army and comparing it to an engine deprived of oil, saying it would seize up without the right components.
Do you know, I am really surprised. I'm glad to see that Cheryl Cole is getting better on the front pages, stick with me and it'll be obvious, of all the papers today. But I am really surprised that this hasn't made more headlines. I was watching it on Sky like yesterday, and, some of the stuff that came out of the Iraq inquiry yesterday is damning to the politicians of this country. Absolutely damning. When you see that as you say, Sir Richard Dannett said the army nearly seized up in many cases, and he and Mike Jackson were giving evidence yesterday, in many cases we were just not ready to put our troops into these theatres of war. It's damning to the politicians. And apparently they didn't even tell the armed forces what they were going to do at certain times. Just appalling. Politicians have got to get their fingers out. Absolutely, totally believable. You're right, Rach. Oh, sorry.
Nice. She's very good on Countdown. Have you ever seen her on that?
Have you been on Countdown too? I thought it was you.
Anyway, we go to the Daily Mail, and the Prime Minister is out there in India.
Yeah.
And,
good picture, this.
And he's very keen to be very cooperative with all things Indian, up to a point.
Doesn't he look a prat there? Don't you
Well,
think...
he's respectful, that's what he is.
He's a prat. Look at him. Now, I tell you, if he doesn't open his mouth and put his foot in it again, I shall be really happy. First of all, insulting the Pakistanis, a lot of British Pakistanis as well as British Indians. He really needs to understand what's going on. And here he is. What he's doing, by the way...
Well, it was the state, and it was elements within the state he was attacking, wasn't it?
Of course, but he wasn't making it very clear, was he? And also, he's over there selling weapons of mass destruction to the Indians. Well, why do we continue to do this? Do we never learn?
Well, they're training jets, aren't they?
Oh,
That's
they're
what they
training
are.
jets.
I don't think
That's
they fire rockets or
okay,
anything.
then.
I actually think they're very
right.
cheap. You get about 500 of them for 500 million. So it's actually quite cheap for a plane, I would have thought.
Well, if we get one and you could customise it and we could use it in a non-violent way.
What about
That's
this
not a bad
diamond? Tell
idea.
us about this diamond.
Well, the diamond, the Kohinoor diamond, I thought that was a restaurant. The Kohinoor diamond, actually, of course, is right in the centre of the state crown, of the crown jewels. And he was on camera, on TV in India, and your equivalent over there asked him if they could have the diamond back, because they've wanted the Kohinoor diamond back for a long time.
And he said...
No.
No.
Okay. Can't have it back. Okay.
Now, here's the big story of the morning, and this beggars belief. And here is a family, Joan and Claire Hackett, and they go for a bit of a picnic on the Downs, the Clifton Downs near Bristol.
Nice.
And they erect their windjammer, and they get their sandwiches out and their picnic plates and whatever. What happens next?
Well, they're there, sitting with the sandwiches, enjoying the day. A little windy up on the Downs, but they've got their windbreak there. And, of course, a lot of people use them on the beach too.
Mm-hmm.
And so Mr Jobsworth comes along and says, sorry, mate, you can't put that there. I say, what are you talking about? No, you can't erect anything. There's no
So semi-permanent structure.
Nothing, not here.
Yes.
You can't erect it.
Breaks the bylaws.
Yeah, Article 5, sir, of the
Yes.
bylaws, headed erection of structures. No person shall on the Downs, without the consent of the Downs Committee, erect any post, rail, fence, pole, tent, booth, stand, building, or other structure. Nothing.
Except Bristol City Council have now got on the ball. They've apologised for this, and they said our bylaws are designed to prevent tents and gazebos being put up, but there should be flexibility to allow families to use windbreaks. We shall instruct our enforcement officers.
Here's the question. I'd like to know what our viewers today would say if they're sitting there having a picnic and Mr Jobsworth comes up. Or it could be Mrs Jobsworth, couldn't it, actually? Because
Yeah.
a lot of women are like that as
Where
well.
would you stick your
What would you tell them to do?
semi-permanent
Would you
structure?
take it down? I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I'd say sling your
Now,
hook.
here's a final story in The Sun. Luton Airport is the title here, and this is something I worry about all the time,
Yeah.
which is why I never put anything valuable in my suitcase, though Mrs Holmes tends to do this all the time and constantly loses her case. But
Well, Mrs Holmes should know better.
yes,
Yeah.
I know, but
That's
don't.
another story, of course. Anthony Current, remember these names, all right, and Abdul Hussain. They have been done and
Yeah.
they've been locked up. It's OK, they're in the papers, they've been locked away. They have pilfered, over a number of years, enormous quantities of stuff out of people's suitcases. You know, people who've saved up a lot of money to go on a holiday, to go on a trip, and they find that they've got loads of stuff. One guy had £16,000 in cash at his home. Another one had thousands of cigarettes. She'd left him and forced him to smoke them all. I wouldn't put people like this in jail. I would whip them. I would give them a good thrashing,
Right.
and then I would make them work for nothing.
Well, put a lock on your suitcase as part of the answer. Don't put anything too valuable in there.
Well,
Thank
it's
you,
an
James.
appalling story, isn't it?
Thank
Absolutely
you.
appalling.
We're going to be back. Reaction to that. Charlotte's standing by to take your reaction to the stories James has been talking about. 1 hour's time, he'll be here talking some more. Mr. James Whale of LBC Radio. OK, well, Steve was bemoaning ticket sales there, but they would have been queuing up to see the 100 metres at the European Championships last night. And here's Sarah Jane to tell you about that.
Yeah, Britain's 100-metre runner Mark Lewis Francis described himself as the happiest man in the world after winning a silver medal at the European Championships.
Really? Mountain to climb for them. So when you come back in half an hour, you had better have those Man United goals.
I'll dig them out from somewhere.
Better. Good, good, OK. Weather-wise, Lucy, what way is it looking today?
It's looking a little like yesterday, but drier. I think the showers were few and far between yesterday. A similar theme today. A bit of sunshine, a bit of cloud.
Have you noticed how much less sunshine we're getting in terms of it's darker in the mornings for longer?
You mentioned this morning, and it just gets me down talking about this.
Winter's coming in.
The mornings are getting shorter.
Shorter,
yes.
that's it. That's
exactly. The days are getting slightly shorter. The mornings are darker.
Let's move on, shall we?
Shall we? Thanks, Sarah Jane. Yes, got all the details for you now.